Welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and I love seeing business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs have massive success in their businesses. Are you ready to reach a higher level in your business? Are you looking to rise to the top and break through the barriers that are holding you back? If this is you, join us on the Mind for Success podcast. Welcome, everyone, to the Mind for Success podcast. Today, I am super excited to introduce my guest and good friend, Jay Grosman. He is the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent. And he's got a great list here. He's currently an automotive advisor for Fox 2, CBS, Channel 4. He's the host of the Auto Authority's podcast and even auditioned for Shark Tank twice. His company acts as real estate agents for cars, and he's created a streamlined turnkey process for both buyers and sellers to enjoy a hassle-free, straightforward, and transparent experience buying or selling a car. Welcome, Jay.
Yay! I'm here.
I love it. I love it. We had some tech issues a little bit prior to the call, so thanks for your patience with that. It was all on my end. It happens.
It does. Welcome to running a business.
Right. So I love, and I know I gave a little bit introduction to you, but if you could just expand a little bit about your business and what you do so the audience knows who they're talking with, that would be great.
Sure. I call myself the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent. I'm also admin. I'm a psychologist. No, I'm just kidding. No, I decided to start this company in 2015, and I spent 18 years in the dealership world selling cars that everybody loves. Everybody loves to buy and sell cars, and that's how I got here.
Awesome. And I know your backstory, and I absolutely love it. I'd love for you to share your backstory with our guests because it's really powerful.
Oh yeah. If you're listening to this, you might want to grab a box of Kleenex. You're going to probably shed a tear, but my goal is to leave you uplifted and inspired to do something that you believe in, like I did. So I spent 18 years in the dealership world. I was in the top 1% out of all salespeople. I made a multi-six-figure income. It was just an incredible journey for me. I could buy anything I wanted. And then all of a sudden, fast forward to 2014. So I started in 96. In 2014, the rug was literally pulled out from underneath me by my wonderful dealership. And they had determined that I was making too much money, and they wanted to change the compensation plan. And throughout my journey selling cars, I was very comfortable. And we all know that comfortable is not a good word when you want to grow, but I didn't know any better. I was making really good money. As soon as they pulled that rug out from underneath me, I had to really start doing some thinking. Do I want to stay in the dealership that I was at? Option number two is, do I want to go to a completely different dealership, probably still have the same story as what I'm dealing with now? Or do I just want to go into this amazing new business that nobody's ever heard of the concept of? And I chose option number three. I made it very difficult on myself. The one thing you should know about me is I am a person of integrity. My parents had taught me about honesty and integrity my entire life. My dad was my mentor. He was my everything. And he just taught me a lot about relationships and how to just do the right thing for people. And my mom was a CPA. She taught me about checks and balances and how detailed she was. So I had this tug of war inside of me. And, they made me go to college, and I went through the college thing. And Truly, like when I was in college, I had a lot of fun, and I had to go through about 3 schools to graduate. And I knew I wanted to do something in sales because I liked people. So I picked the most trusted profession ever, a car salesperson, right? So I decided in 96 to do that. And then here we are in 2014. My dream is gone because now I can't support my family. So I decided to start this little thing called iAutoAgent. That's what we were going to call it. And as a business, it's important to plan your business before you start a business. And that's what I used to do after hours of 40 to 50 hour a week, like literally after hours, planning this business that was going to take off like wildfire. January of 15, me and my buddy Joe, we were going to start this business. We were going to be real estate agents for cars. We were going to do something completely different. And the reason why we got into this business is because we wanted to wear the cape. We wanted to be the one as the hero. And as a salesperson, I always felt like a doctor coming out of an unsuccessful surgery, having to give you the values in your car. Everybody knows that feeling. The back and forth games, you're there for 4 to 7 hours. There's never been a better way. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to turn the entire industry on its head and do something that nobody had ever done before and say that I did it. So then as we decided to move in January of 15, one thing I want to share with you is I actually had met with attorneys to represent our company. And this attorney looked at the E in iAutoAgent, which was our original name. And he's like, I don't know if I can work with you because I work for this little company called Enterprise Leasing Company. I'm like, wait, what? Like, we didn't say we wanted to work with you. And what does he do? He runs back to Enterprise and he says, can I work with these guys? And they said, not only can you not work with them, they have to shut down their company day one. And keep in mind, I work on a one income, living in a very nice area here in St. Louis. I had to shut down my company. We had to pull down all our marketing and URLs and everything. Poof, overnight, no business. Then bombshell number one, Joe comes to me and says, got bad news, Jay. I have to leave the business because I have to go through a divorce. You have to leave the business? Wait, what? So Joe and I complimented each other tremendously. He was very good at some things that I wasn't, and I was very good at things that he wasn't. So now I have no business partner and I have no business and I have to change my name. And it's not so easy just to change a name. So I decided to call the business iAutoAgent, where the I stands for integrity. That's what my parents have always taught me. So then I had to hire somebody to help me. I decided to hire my best friend. Bad idea. My best friend was showing up at our clients' homes intoxicated, and I had to hear about this. So I had to fire my best friend. I wasn't going to stand for that. So that was in March of 2015. Bombshell number 2. My dad passed away. Young age of 73 years old. He was my everything. He was a vegetable. Gone. And keep in mind, I'm only 3 months into business right now. I have no income coming in. I have a company that nobody's even heard of the concept of. And dad passes away. Then bombshell number 3. 3 months later, my mom calls me. She calls me, she's at the hospital because the paramedics took her to the hospital. And I'm like, what are you at the hospital for? She goes, thought I was having a heart attack. Don't worry about me. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, you don't like hospitals. You don't like doctors. You call the paramedics? Something must be up here. So after further examination, turns out she has cancer on her lung and 3 valves blocked in her heart. It required a 7-hour surgery, and the surgeon, who was a top heart surgeon, had only done the surgery 3 times in his lifetime because it was so intensive. Then it was time for the surgery to happen. My mom writes me a death note before the surgery. she's telling me, oh, Jay, you know, if something happens to me, here's what this is and that is. And I'm like, wait, what is my life turning into? I left an amazing job and I'm 6 months into business now. And now I lost my dad and now I'm getting ready to lose my mom potentially. So after 7 hours, my mom has a seizure and a stroke and her life's going downhill. My life's going downhill. And I had to wonder what the heck is going on. I literally felt like a boxer in a ring with my hands tied behind my back. People punch me and punch me and punch me. And I could not hit back. Has anybody ever felt like that before? I did. And then I used to lay down on my couch and I called it the couch because it was the one place I could lay and I could look up in the ceiling and wonder, what the heck am I doing here? So I look up in the ceiling and I knew I had two options. I could stay with iAutoAgent, or option number two is I stay with iAutoAgent. That was it. I didn't have any other options. I was never going to go back to the dealership world. It wasn't me. It never had been me. And now I'm outside my comfort zone. And boy, was I outside my comfort zone. So then once that happened, I used to like try to reprogram my brain by thinking about like positive things, like not the negatives that were happening where I wasn't making any money. I had the kids and the family saying, when are you going to make money, Dad? You know, I literally like concentrated on all the positive reviews we were getting, and people would call me a genius once a week. And it's like, I held on to that because I knew I had something. And then things started to get better. As you know, I'm an automotive advisor on Fox and CBS here in St. Louis. I auditioned for Shark Tank a couple times, and you know, my mom survived, and then I'm on the Auto Authorities podcast is my podcast. I get to go on my soapbox and teach people about buying and selling cars in a fun way without a very boring. I'm not a boring person. And that's really where I'm at right now, Kim. That's pretty much my story so far.
I love your story, and I love that you added so far, because it's always, our stories are always developing, and we're always growing. And your story is very impactful. So I'm glad that you shared it. Couple of things that we talked about prior to hopping on here is, you know, some of the struggles that happen, or I guess the traps that people get into when starting a new business.
Oh yeah, lots of traps. In fact, oh, where do I start?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to know what you do best when you're starting a business. And I think as business owners, we have this obsessive compulsive disorder, like where we constantly have to do everything and everything has to be perfect. But the reality of it is, it's important for you to know what you do best. And once you know that, that is what you do, and you let other people do the rest. Now, when you're first starting a business, you have to do everything. And you're going to learn really quick what you're good at and what you're not good at. And as soon as you learn what you're not good at, it's important to put the right advisors in place to do those types of things for you. Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest ahas, I think, for most business owners, especially when they're starting out, is to know that they don't have to do it all. And the quicker you learn that, the better and faster you'll grow.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I coach new entrepreneurs because I know what it was like. I had people coming into one thing you don't know about my story is I had people literally coming in my company, trying to take my model right from underneath me, my business right from underneath my eyes, like plain right there. And when you have those types of people, number one, you need to recognize it. And things are not easy. Like you're going to like have a lot of pain.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We spoke a little bit, you know, 'cause Jay and I do some networking together. We've known each other just for a short time. I feel like I've known you for a longer time than I have, but I'm curious about, you mentioned some other struggles that you've had in your business, and just, you know, what did you do, and
When you're
how did you
talking,
overcome some of the other things that you've had personally?
oh,
Yeah, I was talking about the personal things that
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to share something with you that's a little bit difficult for me to talk about. Um, so I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 years old on the 27th of August. And I had a stroke October 7th of 2021. Little did I know it was actually my second stroke. The first stroke was a small one that they just, when I went to the emergency room, they wrote it off as just being just sciatic. And this stroke was the big stroke, and it took me down. And I lost all speaking capability. It happened at the gym. I had no identification on me, so nobody even knew who I was. They kept asking me questions. I could not speak. I got to the emergency room. I was trying to teach them, like show them how to use my phone, because they were asking who my wife was and all this stuff. And I was thinking in my head, I may never see my kids or my family again. I didn't even know what had happened to me. And I'm a healthy person. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I eat healthy 90% of the time. I'm a healthy person. Like, why is this happening to me? So when I'm in the emergency room, they actually call my wife before I actually got there, and they told her that they were taking me to the emergency room. And then when I got there, she basically had to make a life decision. Number one, there was something called TPA, which basically unclogs a blood clot in your brain. And if that medicine is given, that could help unclog the blood clot, which is really good. But the bad side is I might bleed to death. The second option was to not do anything, and I may never speak again. And she got to make that decision while she was driving in, crying her eyes out to the emergency room. That's what she got.
I can't imagine.
No. So I chose the TPA route, and it did unclog. You can't even move for 24 hours. I had a speaking presentation actually with you, Kim, the very next day. The Live to Lead event with John Maxwell that we were asked to speak at. I was so excited to speak, and I was going to tell people my story and how I handle adversity. Here I am laying in the emergency room. Then it was ICU for 3 days and a total of 5 days in the hospital. I eventually got my speech back, but I'll tell you this, the one thing that got me through it was what I went through in 2015, and the heartache. It just teaches you what you can handle in life. And I knew what I could handle, and I knew I had a team counting on me that needed me back as their leader. And I got back, and I feel better than ever.
Amazing story. And I got to see that, and you recovered. I mean, I don't know that much about strokes, but I mean, it seemed that you recovered fairly quickly, and you were back out and speaking again, and doing your things, your podcast and all of that really fairly quickly. It was really amazing to watch.
Thank you. Inspiring. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It was inspiring to watch. So I think for people that are business owners and entrepreneurs to take that, those adversities, and what we talked about before we got on the show was how you can work through those, the resilience you have. You have a great amount of resilience and perseverance to go through obstacles. And we really all have that in us.
We all have it. It's what we believe. And once you see it work for yourself, like again, 2015, I had $196 in my business account at one point in 2015. That's all I had left. And the other thing that I had left was the fact that I had the strongest mind out of anybody I knew, because I knew I was going to get through it. I knew I was going to get through that. And it's the faith that you have in yourself. And it takes resilience and perseverance. Don't ever start a business if you think things are just going to be easy, because failures are a way to learn a lesson.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, yes.
If you look at a failure and you say, I failed, a failure is a way to learn a lesson so you never, ever let it happen again.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the biggest thing. And I mean, that's something that I see when people stay stuck. They're not able to move beyond the failure. They just stay in it.
And it's important. Like, one of the things that I learned about when I had my stroke is you have to be present in the now, because the past is depression and the future is anxiety. And you've got to be there in the now, because it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It matters right now. You can make a decision within seconds. If you want to make a change, you can make the change. If you don't want to make a change, you're not going to make a change. And your brain is programmed. Your brain is programmed to keep you safe. So if you don't make that decision, I listen to Mel Robbins a lot. She's one of my mentors. If you don't make that decision within 5 seconds, you will not make that decision. And your brain kicks in and says, oh, I want to keep you safe. Oh, I don't feel like working out right now. Well, I don't feel like working out ever, but I know I have to.
Right. Yeah, that's totally right.
Oh, man, you get me started.
No, but it's true. It's designed to keep us safe. That's exactly what it does. Every single behavior we do, good or bad, it's got a positive intention behind it. It wants to do something good for us, but sometimes it just gets mixed up on what that is, or doesn't know.
When a can becomes a must, it has to be a must. It's not, I'll try, I'll see. You have to do it, and just do it.
Yeah, I just thought of Yoda and Nike in that statement. Those two things, just do it, and there is no try, there is only do. It's a combination.
Yeah. You just have to do it, and there has to be a strong enough why behind what you're doing. You can't just go find to start a business. If you think you're going to start a business because you're going to be making a lot of money, you might want to just step out of the game right now.
Yeah.
There ain't no such thing as easy money, and it is not a sprint. It is a marathon.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And you've been running for quite some time.
Yeah. And I'm practicing exactly what I preach right now. Is I'm starting to now find individuals, because people is the hardest part of a business. Individuals, because we need people to duplicate me, and documenting all your processes. That's something I highly recommend for any business owner. Always document your processes. It is very painful to do, but when you document your processes, you can teach it to do someone else to do it, and make sure they have the qualifications to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no communication problems if it's all documented.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned that years ago from a business coach that I was working with. And it even for me, because I'm still, myself right now, other than the team that helps me with, little things, but I document my process. It's huge.
It's everything.
Yeah. 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 So, what are some obstacles that you're dealing with in your industry?
Oh, I think I just talked about it. People. I mean,
People, that's the main one.
people is the number one obstacle that, people have feelings, they have emotions. Sometimes people tell you things and they magically don't happen. I think that most people have good intentions, but they don't realize. I think a lot of people live in a fantasy world. I really do. And I'm very particular on who comes into the company, and it's about core values, and make all our core values are on our website, and they're all documented, every single one of them. And we talk about it every meeting that we have, and our meetings that we have on Mondays are very positive meetings. And that's people would be the number one challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's common. And so many people, well, I think about sales teams in general, you don't, it's that subconscious thing, like what they say and what they do are two different things. And there's all kinds of reasons behind all that. And what their experiences are, whether or not they learn the lesson, what you talked about earlier, whether or not they learn the lesson and we're able to move forward.
Yeah. And the biggest thing other than people for our company, because I decided to start a company, nobody's ever even heard of the concept, is brand awareness. And that's another thing that I'm working on right now is we're actually looking at advertising now. And we weren't advertising before, but this is also going to build awareness of what we do for people, because our reviews, we have literally 207 reviews at a 4.9. And the reason why we do is because we care about people, and it's those core values that drive this company. It's all the stuff my dad, my mom taught me from day one, and I ended up in the car business. And now I can change the car business for the better.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, just a shout out to you, or testimonial back at you. It's, we used personally, my husband was looking for a new truck. It died, like there was no saving it. And you were just a great all along the way. He was looking for a used truck originally. And you immediately saw, you did work magic there. You saw that he could find a new one. And I think it was less payments. I'm sure you know
it was
story more than I do. It was less. It was way less than what we would have paid for used, which is just amazing. And he absolutely loves it. We've only had it a few months, but he absolutely loves it. And right now in this market, it's hard to find the vehicle that you want unless you have help.
Yeah, that same truck we got you and Mark, you can't even get it anymore. And the manufacturers have caught on to everything now. And there was a few loopholes that I knew about and stuff that you wouldn't know unless you were in the industry. And at the end of the day, I have smiling faces, and that's what's important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was so easy. That's what's important to me. He loves his truck, which is important, but also there was no, back and forth anything. It was just, everything was just seamless. We knew exactly what we were getting when we went in. And you've done a great job of building those relationships with the people that help you find the vehicles. And it shows. They loved you also. So
yeah, it's all about relationships in this world. And again, it comes down to people, and it comes down to core values. It comes down to what is important to you. Are you looking? We have this, one of our core values is we rather have the relationship than the opportunity. The relationship is so much more valuable than the opportunity. Opportunities come and they go, but relationships, they last forever if you do it the right way.
Right.
So it's really, really important.
So, what are the best ways? I want to start wrapping up. What are the best ways for people to get into contact you or connect with you?
Yeah. So the best ways are, if someone's looking to buy or sell a car, if you just go to like integrity, autoagent.com, that's iAutoAgent.com. Yeah, and you can send us a message. Someone will respond to you within less than 24 hours, and we'll help you out any way we can.
I love it. I love it. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, we covered a lot.
We did.
I love what you do, Kim, because it all starts with this right here called your brain. And I'm learning so much about the brain, and I'm just so intrigued by it. And especially after having my stroke, I would encourage anybody to really start understanding your brain, because we have 60 to 70,000 conversations a day with ourselves. And the question is what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying positive? Or are you saying negative? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're saying negatives, you're programming your brain right now.
Yep.
And it's awesome what you do.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. And thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate you and just all you do. And I want to encourage the listeners to reach out to Jay, and when you are thinking about buying or selling your new vehicle, because he really does make it absolutely seamless and easy.
Are you ready to break through the barriers that are holding you back and reach a higher level in your business in just 4 hours? Be sure to click the link today and join other high-achieving professionals that have worked with Kimberly Lebbing to accelerate their success.